It's game week 11 in the Premier League, and there are some juicy fixtures just before we head into yet another international break. Welcome to the Footy Network. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to the Footy Network, where we've got some tasty predictions for you ahead of game week 11. Will Wolves or Ipswich be able to get their first win? Who will go into the next international break top of the table? And is Lopetegui going to be sacked for West Ham? If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button. Please make sure you're subscribed to the Footy Network. And don't forget to check out our sponsors for the video today, which is Surfshark, where you can get an additional free 4 months extra, as well as 84% off. So if you've got Netflix, make sure you're using Surfshark, set your location to the USA, and you'll unlock all the box sets that we don't get on this side of the pond. All right, let's jump in and start with the first game of the weekend. So with no early kickoffs on Saturday, let's go straight to Molineux as Wolves will host Southampton in the 3 p.m. kickoff. Wolves have still not got a win. Gary O'Neill is shocking me that he is still in a job right now, and surely, if he loses this, he's in deep trouble. With Wolves still bottom of the table, they must get a win on this one. But with Armstrong scoring the winner for Southampton last week, Russell Martins is looking a lot happier as they were finally able to register their first win. Wolves, as I keep saying week in, week out, aren't playing bad football. They just can't finish their dinner. They've got to. Surely they have to this time beat the Southampton and register their first win. But I'm getting less and less confident in them. So I'm going to say for one final time, I'm going to back Wolves to win this one. And I'm going Wolves 2, Southampton 1. But I'll tell you right now, I'm not saying it with any chest or confidence. What do you guys reckon? The next match will be at the London Stadium as West Ham will host Everton, and Lopetegui is under huge pressure right now after getting slapped last week by Forest. He could be up for the sack. I've heard rumours that Frank Lampard might be the one replacing him. In terms of Everton, they gave away an L to Southampton, but overall they've steadied the ship. I don't know about this one. I really don't. They're just two unpredictable teams. You can almost predict West Ham are going to be rubbish again, but Everton, you just never know. So I'm going to sit on the fence in this game, and I'm going to go for a draw, but a score draw. So I'm going to go West Ham 1, Everton 1. However, if West Ham lose this game, I think it's curtains already for Lopetegui. The West Ham fans aren't buying into it, and the old be careful what you wish for line comes into play with Moyes. What do you guys reckon? Could Lopetegui go if they lose this one? Let me know in the comments. The BTEC Stadium will host Brentford against Bournemouth on Saturday. And Brentford are probably still crying over blowing a 3-point, not turning it into 1 against Fulham, but 0, as there was 2 late goals in their match against Fulham last week on Monday. So they lost 2-1. But Bournemouth are currently flying right now. Their chest must be puffed out. Having beaten Arsenal and Manchester City, Bournemouth are doing okay in the Premier League. And I expect their form to continue. I really rate their manager. I think Semenyo is one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. And I can see them going to the BTEC Stadium and beating crappy Brentford. I think Brentford will eventually get dragged into a relegation fight. So I'm going to go here for an away win. I'm going to back Bournemouth to beat Brentford. I'm going Brentford 1, Bournemouth 2. What do you guys think? Let me know as always. Selhurst Park will host Crystal Palace versus Fulham this weekend. And as we just mentioned, Fulham will be feeling very good about themselves. Palace, however, drew with Wolves earlier on in the week in a bit of a topsy-turvy game. Took the lead, lost the lead, ended up drawing, and had a goal disallowed very late on, which I think was a little harsh. I don't see this one being too exciting a game, if I'm honest with you. Palace are still not flowing the way they did at the end of the last season, and I think Fulham will do well but may struggle away at Selhurst Park because it is a tough ground to go to. So again, I'm going to sit on the fence on this one, and I think it ends up a score draw. I'm going Crystal Palace 1, Fulham 1. Don't come at me, that's just what I feel. If you agree or not, as always, let me know in the comments down below. The Amex Stadium is next on the list as Brighton will host Manchester City. And this is a Manchester City team that unbelievably has now lost 3 games on the spin. Can Brighton make it 4 in a row? Brighton, having gone to Anfield and lost last weekend, and to be honest, could have come away with all 3 points. But I guess going to Anfield and getting a W isn't for every team. So they're playing okay despite that loss. But can you really see Pep losing 4 in a row? It's got to be unheard of, surely. Can't see it. I think Brighton will falter, but I don't think Man City are free flowing or free scoring right now. Maybe Rodri's injury is a lot bigger of a loss than some gave it credit for. I am going to back Man City on this one, however, and I'm going to go for a low scoring match. I'm going to go Brighton 0, Manchester City 1. But I'm not that confident. Maybe a draw. Who knows? Pep, is he under any pressure? What do you guys think? Anfield will host the evening kickoff as Liverpool will play Aston Villa. Both these teams with maybe aspirations to finish high in the table, and Liverpool are currently sitting top of the table and would love to go into the international break in that scenario, knowing that if they get a win, they will still be there for the next few weeks. But Aston Villa are faltering, and this is going unnoticed in the league. I believe they've only won 1 game in their last 5. Yes, they are still flying in Europe and doing really well in the Champions League. But will they have enough for Liverpool, especially at Anfield? I feel with them having played midweek, travelling up to Liverpool, can't see it. And in fact, I'm going to go as far as to say Liverpool will keep a clean sheet. They have the best defensive record in the Premier League, having only conceded 6 goals this season, and I think they keep another clean sheet. I'm going to go for Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 0, and I think Liverpool will probably win this one quite comfortably. What do you guys see? Do you see an upset at Anfield? We already know who the one team is that beat Liverpool this season. Sunday, we'll see Old Trafford hosting Manchester United versus Leicester City. And Ruud will still be in charge ahead of the appointment of Amorim, but after the international break. So, can Ruud get another win for the Old Trafford faithful, or will Steve Cooper's terrible away form in the Premier League continue? Steve Cooper just about scraped a point with his Leicester City last weekend as they equalised very late on away to Ipswich. But at Old Trafford, I just don't see them getting too much. We saw them play a B team against Manchester United in the Cup the other week, and they got tonked 5-2. And I can see Man United, even under Ruud, having a quite comfortable day. So I'm going to go on this one, Manchester United 3, Leicester City 1. And I think Leicester are in for yet another rude awakening. Okay, let's move on. The main event of the weekend will be at the City Ground as Forest will host Newcastle United. And this is a huge game. Can Forest maintain their current hot form and stay in the top 3? A win for Forest will keep them there this weekend into the international break as well. Or will Newcastle United come down to the City Ground to spoil the party? Having gotten a win over Chelsea in the Cup and Arsenal last week, their heads are high right now and they want to keep the good times rolling. But I think this is going to be a tough one. And Forest have plenty of ex-Newcastle players that could come and haunt them. Chris Wood is in the form of his life right now. 3rd in the goal scoring charts, in fact 2nd now I believe, with 8 goals and a hat-trick to his name last time out at St James's Park against his old club. Can he Can he upset his former employees? Will Elliot Anderson play a part in this game? Can he get his first goal for Forest against his former club and his boyhood club? There's a lot of sub-stories in this one. But I think both teams are well managed, play a good shape, well organised. And I'm going to say it will be Forest 0, Newcastle 0. I just think both teams will cancel each other out and it ends up in a goalless draw. And to be honest, I'd take a point against Newcastle. They have won their last 2 games at the City Ground, even though it was under controversial circumstances in both of them. So I'm going to stick with the draw, but my heart will say Forest win. Let me know your score predictions on this one. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium will host Spurs versus Ipswich United, and McKenna is still desperate to find his first win in the Premier League, and they need to get it sooner rather than later, as they for sure will end up being in a relegation fight. Spurs having turned it around against Aston Villa, you literally saw a game of 2 halves in that match, with Dominic Solanke scoring a couple, would you believe it? Can Spurs go into the international break with another win, or will Ipswich finally find some form and get the first W on the board? My gut feeling says this one is going to be a bloodbath. And I can see Spurs going free scoring on Ipswich. In fact, I'm going high on the scoring here. I'm going to go Tottenham 5, Ipswich 1. Have I gone too high, or can you see that happening? Let me know in the comments down below. Stamford Bridge will host the final game of the weekend as Chelsea take on Arsenal. What could be a tasty clash? Chelsea having drawn with Manchester United, and to be honest, Palmer not looking that cold in that match. Will he return to his normal form against Arsenal? Arsenal taking yet another L against Newcastle last week. They may find themselves under a little pressure in this game, and in particular Arteta. Is he actually going to be able to take them to the promised land and win them a major title, or is it time for Arsenal to move on and upgrade for him? I don't know, get your thoughts down below in the comments. I think this is going to be a tough game for Arsenal, and I do not think they're playing well at the moment. And at Stamford Bridge, most teams have struggled this season, apart from Forest. And I think Chelsea are going to nick this one. I think they're going to sneak it 1-0. I can see Nkunku coming off the bench and getting a winner, I don't know, like the 77th minute. So I'm going to go for a Chelsea win. I'm going to go Chelsea 1, Arsenal 0. And will that ramp up the pressure on Arteta? Time will tell. What's your guys' score prediction on this one? Let me know in the comments down below. And that brings you up to date with my predictions for week 11 on the Footy Network. I'm looking forward to reading yours in the comments as always. Do me a quick favor, if you haven't already, please check and hit that like button. Subscribe to the Footy Network if you are new. I wish you all the best of luck this weekend for whatever team you support, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a great weekend.